Well, this is my first time at ChinaJoy, but certainly not my last. I think I'll come here every year, actually.
Now, I think the stress of AI has caused Satya Nadella's hair to fall off prematurely. And you wouldn't know it to look at us two gentlemen together, but there's only a 1-year age difference. And without any surgery or strange manipulations using filters on my setup here, because I don't, who do you think looks like the less stressed individual? Huh? What?
Obviously the Chinese market is massive. The appetite for Chinese games in Europe and the West is growing. Content, the fans, you see them all dressed up. That kind of passion really overflows into the rest of the world.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to make this video today. So much so I grabbed an extra shot of black coffee with 1 teaspoon of sugar, and now I'm sat here all wired up to the hilt because this is going to have some member berries in it. I'm going to go over some things that I've mentioned before in previous videos that you might not have seen. And if that's the case, why don't you go and click on my channel, hit that like button, and if you see the hype button, make sure you hit that as well, because according to YouTube, it might have some effect in the algorithm or it might not. I think it's the former rather than the latter. But let's talk about AI slop today, folks, something my channel isn't guilty of. And I'm going to say from the very beginning, I do like AI a lot. It served my channel and my brand very well, but obviously there's a darker side to it where it makes things appear not to be what they're supposed to be, but then the BBC somehow forgot to mention that last year and now find themselves being sued by America, which is pretty hilarious actually. So without further ado, folks, let's get into why Microsoft are really going to push AI into its future games, which probably means that buying Bethesda and Activision might have been a wasted deal in the first place.
On Kung Fu Hot Dog, it's time to get things off your chest.
YouTube's newest hero is here to save the day. His name, Kung Fu Hot Dog.
So this is Satya Nadella. Now, if this guy was a recent hire at Microsoft, I would have actually said he's a DEI hire. But no, this guy started off with Sun Microsystem back in the day before joining Microsoft in 1992. And look, the guy's had some personal tragedy in his life. That's really sad. We all get it. But besides from that, he's done well. He helped to buy the Minecraft game in 2014, and either for better or worse, that's a Microsoft property now, right? But this article here from Tom Warren at The Verge, where the CEO Nadella says, stop blogging about AI slop and embrace it. Now, I'm just going to read the top paragraph here because it's kind of like, I think that Mr. Nadella doesn't really know what he's talking about, or that he understands what the implications of AI slop is doing right now in the landscape of entertainment and how we get our information. Now that Microsoft CEO Nadella has appointed a new CEO to run Microsoft's biggest business, he has little more time on his hands for other adventures. Nadella is now turning to the ancient art of blogging to discuss Microsoft's year ahead. Again, that should be rear ahead, and why he thinks everyone needs to move beyond the argument of AI slop versus sophistication. Now, Nadella, if you want to know about sophistication, just hit me up on a Zoom call, mate, and I'll show you what my lovely ladies look like after I've given them a few prompts here, there, and everywhere. Nadella's first bloggy entry in SN Scratchpad is all about Microsoft and other AI companies still needing to get a bunch of stuff right with AI. I wonder what he could be talking about. Nothing sinister here, but I know what comes to my mind when I think about that. Bicycles for the mind. Well, listen, bicycles, like Jeremy Clarkson says, are basically kids' toys for adults who can't drive a car or ride a motorcycle. So again, it's a concept that Steve Jobs used to describe computers as tools back in the good old 1990s. We need to get beyond the arguments of, oh my god, are you kidding, guys? Is this... Hang on a minute. Get the fuck out of here. Let's forget that for the time being, folks, because obviously The Verge is an annoying paywall site. But let's have a look at this quickly, because I need to remind you, this year we're getting Halo Campaign Evolved. It's a full remake of the original Halo. I disagree about that, actually. It's coming to Xbox, PC, and the Series X and X and PlayStation 5 in 2026. I don't even think PlayStation users want to play Halo. I'm going to come back to that point as well in a minute. Featuring updated visuals, refined controls, yes, new prequel missions, which, to be honest, sounds pretty good. Go on! And enhanced co-op. Developed by the newly formed Halo Studios, formerly 343 Industries. Because remember when they took over from Bungie, headed by Bonnie Ross?
Hello everyone! I am so sorry that I can't be at today's ceremony to celebrate what we all love with video games.
And she couldn't do jack shit to get those later games embraced by the Halo community. She couldn't, because they were just shit. Like Halo 4, 5, and oh my god, what was it? Infinitum with Craig David. They just could not drum up enthusiasm. Bungie had that magic which 343 just could not. They could not recreate, could they? And now what I think is actually happening with this, and this is actually where it kind of rings the alarm bells for me and everybody else, if you've been paying attention. So you got to pay close attention to this, folks, because this is where it gets very, very interesting. So the bird on the left right here, now people have had problems pronouncing her surname, even I did, because if you look at Angela Hession, you could be thinking that it might be Hession, but it's actually Hession, because that's how they talk about her name here in this video. And yes, this Kiwi girl from Reuters New Zealand interviewing Angie Hession right here, because me and Angie go all the way back, which is why I can call her Angie, because most girls call Angela allow you to call them Angie. Well, those that are biologically speaking a woman, of course. But here's where it gets very interesting. So Angie used to work at Microsoft for many, many years, or again, should I say many, many years, as, and wait for it because this will actually make you cringe, Global Head of Gaming Safety and Trust. That was from 2019 to 2020. Oh, I can't imagine why that would be such a ridiculous position to create, because yes, when it comes to playing in the lobbies of Call of Duty, we need safety, we need concerns. We can't have everybody berating each other about their moms in the chat. No, you can't do that. Now, obviously, before that, she was at Microsoft for, I would say, not that shy of 12 years, but you know what I'm saying. But have a look. She was recently rehired in December of 2025, and she's still there. And what is her main purpose, folks? Well, have a look at her bio at the top there. She is the founder of Hession Consulting AI. And I gotta say, maybe she's used a bit of AI to slightly tweak her picture right here, but my god, she's a bit of a MILF, isn't she? She is a rather hotty-totty bombshell for Microsoft, and I would say quite confidently she's a she-her, because yes, she's got the pronouns in her bio, but she looks absolutely spectacular. Angie, from one guy to not so much another, leave your hair down low. You look really spectacular. So I think the new Halo game coming out is going to be an AI semi-slot fest of maybe minor maybe suitably epic proportions. It depends. Now listen, before we get to the main crux of what I can't wait to talk about today, I just want to talk about AI in video games, because as you've noticed, folks, there is an apathy for the announcement that Sony made recently that, hey guys, that PlayStation 6 console that you wanted, we're delaying it until 2030 because of RAM issues or because of hardware issues. No, because PlayStation, nobody's interested in what you've got coming out. You've run out of ideas for exclusive games. By now, we should have had a reboot of Uncharted somehow, but again, blame Neil fucking Druckmann for that debacle. The sooner you remove him, the snake of the Hydra's heads, then maybe, just maybe, you might find somebody who's not activist-minded like Druckmann and start to make games again. I think with the recent firing over at Sucker Punch Studios because Ghost of Yotei did not meet expectations in terms of sales, that's what they need. They need someone just to start making good old-fashioned IP again. Of course, if you're bringing AI into the conversation, that is going to be the way forward to make video games. And that's what I said at the beginning here, folks. Microsoft bought Bethesda, they bought Activision, but they're now firing employees. And trust me, that's going to get worse this year. And it's going to be left to the skeleton crew. And what's going to happen? You need humans to tell AI what to do. AI, ironically, is too dumb to think for itself. So in regards to that, you're not going to get a HAL computer from Space Odyssey 2001, are you? You're not going to get that level of sophistication. By the time you and I are no longer on the face of this earth, that might start to evolve into that. But right now, it's not going to happen. So the thing is, if games are getting more expensive because consoles or new hardware are getting more expensive and graphics cards, if you're a PC gamer, are so high-ended that you need an AI-generated graphics card that can run AI-generated games, then where's the buck going to stop? Well, I tell you where it's going to stop, or might start, to be honest. It's down to good old China. China, who actually beat Elon Musk's when it came to the best-selling car of last year, the best electric vehicle, build your dreams. Oh, that's just hysterical. And of course, I've been very critical of China, but as a best friend of mine said to me, you got to kind of lower your tone a little bit, Jace, because China does some good things. And do you know what? We're going to look into that right now. And anyway, folks, what's the secret of my success, you may wonder? Well, it's called being bathed in luscious lady vampires every single night. And something that I mentioned before, folks, about the 7th generation of consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PS3, games were cheaper to make. And when they came out, you might have a few day one patches, but nothing to worry about. The consoles, for the most part, apart from the Ring of Death on the Xbox original, everything was all just great. There was no $300 million budgets on a video game, nothing like that. Obviously, in the last few years, budgets have skyrocketed. Parts are getting more expensive to make brand new gaming consoles. Gaming is more expensive. AI, of course, is a very expensive tool depending on where you go to. For me personally and my branding, AI is not expensive because I go to countries like Indonesia and other places like Singapore to get my AI work done. And in fact, the biggest irony about AI, why I love it so much, because people like Fiverr, you would have to go to a person and then you'd have to wait maybe hours or a day or two before they respond to you. And then when they actually generate what you've asked for and it's not quite right, it defeats the purpose of why you went to Fiverr in the first place. But AI is putting people like them out of a job. And I've got to say, fake crocodile tears, because that's the way it's going to go, right? And I really do love the AI tools that I use now, because everything is done in about 2 minutes and I'm ready to rock and roll. And in fact, even some of the other AI tools that will cost about £200 or £300, I just found for free online. If you know where to go to, me hearties, shiver me timbers. Tencent Huawei and smaller studios leverage AI to boost video gaming. Now, I know some of you are going to say in the comments, oh, Kung Fu, did you not know about this dude? Well, this is why learning is such a great turning in what I do here on YouTube. And again, we all knew this, but I think because China have been coming out with some banger titles recently, and that's just the beginning, by the way, folks. So Chinese video gaming companies are doubling down on AI to enhance their titles and explore new growth opportunities driven by rapid advances in AI models, according to execs at ChinaJoy, the country's largest annual digital entertainment expo. So again, I think when it comes to we lamenting the demise of E3, and now it's been taken over by Jeff Keighley, who does a very mid job, to be honest. Maybe this is where I need to go in future to, and I need to really check it out. And by the way, if you want a reason to check out why ChinaJoy is fantastic, well, I'll leave that to the end of the video for you, you buffoons, because this video is 11 minutes long. We won't go through all of it, but let's have a look. Courtesy of Shanghai
Hello and welcome to Shanghai.
AI.
I'm Chen Chen.
Hi, I'm Timothy Pope. The China Digital Entertainment Expo and Conference, more commonly known as ChinaJoy, was held from the 1st to the 4th of August here in Shanghai. It's a celebration of all things game related, and jumps
Not game related.
to find out
Okay,
more about the
I'm
latest
disappointed
trends
already.
in the sector.
ChinaJoy, the annual gala for
Hello,
game developers and
Shang
fans,
Zhuan.
is back in town. This year's event brings together more than 700 enterprises from around the world, including 237 foreign-funded entities from 37 countries and regions.
Shen Mo, co-founder and chief producer, Create AI. This is a guy I might want to hang out with, actually. But have a look. Oh yeah. Look, have a look at this guy. This. Oh wow. Have a look at this.
$3.5 billion US dollars, up more than 14% from a year ago. That's according to a report released by China Audio, Video, and Digital Publishing
Oh, I
Association
love that
in
monitor, the
Shanghai on
ultra
July
widescreen
31st.
curvy. Oh, I love it.
Gaming companies have been
Hi,
growing
Ronan, Menzi.
at a very, very fast rate. Just in the past maybe 6-7 years, we've seen almost a 400% increase in Chinese games that are getting installed on people's mobile phones globally.
The major overseas market for Chinese games.
Well, I don't really care about mobile games, to be honest. I'm just more about the console and PC video game market regarding that.
Real compute.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm in love. Oh my god, she's so stunning, isn't she? Wow. I wonder if she likes hot chocolate. Oh, hello. Yeah, okay. Yes. Beyond ACG.
It's loud, it's packed, it's
Yes.
like a gamer's dream come true. Welcome to ChinaJoy 2025, and I'm surrounded by massive screens, eye-catchy booths, and also, of course,
Yeah, in other words, this is my type of environment, folks, because I went to Electric Town in 2018 in Japan, and I thought I was at home there. That basically, if you've never seen that place or never been there, it's like a real-life version of Sunset Overdrive, one of my favorite Xbox games of all time.
a sea of visitors.
Look at this. This is packed. It's very much like E3, and they do presentations on stage, but this looks insane. All the cosplay, and trust me, folks, I've got a nice treat for you at the end of this.
Countries and regions gathered here to showcase not just the games, but also the future of digital entertainment. Follow me and let's dive into the buzz.
Let's dive into the butt. Oh, wow. Hang on a second. God damn. Wait a second. When I see a pretty... I mean... Yeah, you wouldn't get that in a Western gaming expo, would you? You'd have a dude sat there in a woman's dress and he'd be like, you can't do that until you tell me what your pronouns are.
I'm one of Fairy Godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
Shut up.
Holy hell, man. Damn. Oh, jeez. Yeah, certainly not a localizer, if you know what I mean.
So I think we're expecting a lot of that because of Black Wukong, and people are like...
She's a Chinese Indian person, right?
Our main focus is China right now.
Look how big those screens are.
Develop our relationship with the Chinese gaming publishers.
Yeah, the funny thing is, if this keeps happening, then I think we might see a fundamental shift in terms of video games in the future where And again, by the way, folks, you wouldn't believe this if I told you, but you know there's been a Starfield upgrade with Star Wars? They still put the effing pronouns in the game, even in the modded versions.
Right.
So again, if you want to get away from Todd Howard and what Bethesda has now become, what these two individuals are saying here is they want to develop relationships with Chinese video game developers because the way forward, and maybe we might get cheaper games in the future. I still say that China might start developing their own gaming consoles that will compete with Xbox and PlayStation that are far cheaper. They'll deliver the goods in terms of what to expect, and there probably are out there, and I haven't seen them yet, but if they're not and they're not being talked about, well, I can't wait to see what happens. Yeah, this is ChinaJoy, folks. Beautiful women on stage, which quite clearly E3 is so ashamed of these days, but in China, they just embrace it. Oh my god. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, while I bring my pervy little camera a bit closer to these lovely ladies, if I were you and if you were me, I'll catch you catching me for the return of the next video. Yeah. Keep having, I don't mind if you're so kind. Stop it.
Tune in next time, Space Freaks, and hear your doobry go ping in the next gripping installment of
Kung Fu Hot Dog.
I think the advantages of Chinese games in general is really the development is AAA quality. A lot of the games coming here, the quality is really good. It's such a very well-made game.
Unlike the shit we get from the West.